How's it going, everybody? Ramon here, back at you with another episode of Meet the Surfer. Today we're down in beautiful Waikiki on a Thursday morning here with someone who grew up at Queens in Waikiki, and his name is?
Daniel, Keliihoomalu, Kahala Jr.
What was it like growing up in Waikiki during the 80s?
Man, it was different for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got our tourists and stuff, but as for like the surf,
Yeah.
it wasn't as crowded, not at all. And then all the old school beach boys and getting scoldings from Uncle Rabbit for getting too close to the tourists, and he can make money off of them by doing that. And then buy me lunch after that.
Yeah. Cool.
That was some of the cool stuff.
So what type of boards were you guys, do you remember riding as a kid?
So one of my very first board that I bought, or my dad, he went half, I went half, and it was a HIC, a Chuck Andrews 510, one of my favorite boards growing up. I had it for a couple years until one of my buddies, Ezra, if you remember, you and broke him in Waimanalo. Nah, but it's all good. And then after that, it was just like literally using whatever board I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my dad's boards. I think he probably at one point had close to 40, 50 boards underneath his house.
Wow.
So I would literally just go underneath the house, grab a board and go.
Yeah. Wow, so you could literally, like, no joke, ride a different board every day.
No joke. I can literally ride anything.
Yeah. You say he was also running like a tourist, so he was like teaching the, the lessons to the tourists as well.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So, what type of board are you riding today? And like, growing up with surfing, what was it like? Being a kid, like, I imagine like all you did was just surf, school, growing up.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
When I first started, my grandfather used to bring me here to Waikiki to that banyan tree right over there I'm looking at. And his cousin ran the surf stand right there and asked me one day if I wanted to try go surf. And I grabbed, I think it was like a 7.4 gun, and paddled out to Baby Queens, caught my first wave, stood up, and literally ever since then, all I want to do is paddle back out and catch another one.
Yeah. And the rest is history.
Exactly.
So, with growing up in Waikiki and being born and raised at Queens, are there any other spots on the island you like to frequent, like when it's flatter here on the South Shore?
Oh yeah. So like after my grandfather moved to the mainland, and I kind of slowed down coming to Waikiki, but I still surf like bowls, rock piles, Kaisers, concessions, literally everywhere from Sand Island to Diamond Head, actually Cromwell's too.
Yeah.
But all in between there, I was there.
Pretty much your territory.
Yep, shortboarding, mostly shortboarding up until about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then I started actually longboarding.
Longboarding, cool. So what made you like, switch over to longboarding from shortboarding?
So I just recently moved back to Hawaii a little over 3 years ago.
Yeah. And
I was in Seattle for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Mainly waiting till my kids grow up so I can move back home.
Yeah.
So I actually got to surf up there quite a bit. Cold water, 5 mil wetsuit minimum.
I imagine.
Surfing here, like, all over the island, literally.
Yeah.
When I started, like in middle school to high school, my best friend at the time, we literally surfed the whole island.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we would park at Kiwalos and surf all the way to Bamburas and walk back.
Wow. Wow.
Like we literally used to surf all day long.
Yeah. So I imagine, man, after all of that, it feels good to be back home after all those years.
Good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And the freedom of no wetsuit, oh my God.
Yeah, I can imagine. So the closest I've seen surfing in Seattle is that one movie, Twilight, which isn't a good representation of people surfing. in
Nope.
the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, that's pretty much like the closest I've seen to like surfing up there in the Pacific Northwest. But I mean, I have heard that the waves are good because I mean, it's still the Pacific Ocean, so they get like the,
Oh,
the big
yeah.
swells hitting the coast and stuff. And
Like,
then
during the winter time,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, from I want to say November till about March, they say the average wave height is around 15 feet,
really,
like 12 to 15 feet.
wow,
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's that cold, cold water.
Yeah.
So I don't miss that growing up in South Carolina and surfing during the winter time in the cold water. That's something I don't miss. So, so what type of board are you riding present day?
Right now, I'm riding a Mitsu 9.0. It's a single fin nose
Okay.
rider. I can still turn it. I can ride the tail. I have like a couple boards that I use. I also have like a 9.6 McTavish.
Yeah.
It's a super light board, really fun. Like it's like my all-around high performance nose rider type board.
Go to, yeah.
And then I have access to like all the rental boards at Locomotion. So if you ever want to ride some Takayamas,
Come and see you.
oh yeah.
And which location can they find you at?
I'm at the Hyatt for like Wednesdays and Thursdays for now.
Okay. So yeah, if you guys are down visiting Oahu and you want to get into some boards, go talk to Daniel. He's at the Hyatt at the Locomotion location. So that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you for giving me your time and sharing your story about growing up here in Waikiki and being surrounded by the surf culture.
Oh
So,
yeah, you're welcome. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. So thank you guys and have a good day. Aloha.
Aloha.
If you have a love for surfing and Hawaii, consider becoming a Patreon member, as this would not only support me, but help me bring you more behind the scenes content, stories, and action from around Oahu.